Moving on to assignment 8. Okay, I'm going to give you some strings in a sample file. And this one is a little bit more difficult. What I want you to do is figure out how to extract the email addresses from those strings. Okay, that's the first part. Then I want you to remove duplicates from that list. And then finally I want you to compare the list of emails that you extract with another list of emails and tell me which emails that you extracted are also in this list. So it'll take some logic and some thinking, but I want to push you a little bit on this. And like I said, in Module 9, I'm going to give you some additional tools that will help you if you're stuck. So going back to here, if you go to the download the A8 starter template and open that up, okay, so here is the list of emails that I want you to compare it to, list email, and then I've given you 2 pieces of text. And in that text, you can see here that there are email addresses. So I want you to find the email addresses and I want you to pull them out and put them into a different list. That's the challenge for A8. Now, really quickly, how many of you are confident that if I show you a word or a string of characters that you could tell me with a pretty high degree of certainty whether that is an email address or not? How many feel pretty confident about that? Yeah? You see a lot of email addresses, right? Okay, so what's the secret? You know an email address when you see it. Is it just a feeling you have? How do you know an email address? They have a domain, and I saw you did the @ sign, right? So they have an @ sign. They end in dot something, right? So if I show you a string of characters that starts with an @ sign and then has some letters and numbers after that, is that an email address? No. What is that likely to be? Like an Instagram handle or Threads, or it's usually a social media thing, right? So we all know that email addresses have rules associated with them. And we can use those rules to decide if a word is an email address or not. So let's just logically think about this, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint here. If I wanted to, let's say, find the email addresses in this, and I'm not talking about writing code right now. Like if I just, as a class, if we go through str text 1 here, and we're going to say, let's identify the email addresses. What are we going to do? So our eyes are going to start scanning one word at a time, right? We're going to go, is that an email address? No. Is that an email address? No. Is that an email address? We're going to keep doing that one word at a time. And then eventually we're going to get to something that looks like an email address. Our eyes are probably going to focus on the @ sign first. The minute we see an @ sign, we're thinking maybe that's an email address. Does it follow the other rules? Well, it's got a top-level domain at the end, .com. Now, it used to be that top-level domains were like one of 4 things, .gov, .com, .org, .net. Now it could be literally almost anything. But the rule is still the same. You have to have an @ sign. It has to have text before and after it. You're allowed to have dots both before and after. You're not really allowed to have a whole lot of other punctuation. You can have a hyphen or a dot. It has to end in letters. It cannot end in a number. It cannot end in punctuation. It cannot begin in punctuation. So, and there can be no spaces, which is really handy for this because what does it allow us to do? If we take that text, we break it into words using split. Then we can look at each word one at a time. And we can say, does this word have an @ sign in it? If it does, we should put it on a list and say, maybe that's an email address. We can come back and look at it in more detail later. But if we put that into a list, then we have a list of probable email addresses that we can then examine a little bit more closely. So I'm literally talking you through the steps of the program, right? Split it, look at each word, look for the @ sign, put it into another list. That's step one of all of this. If you can put those words that I just said into code, then you're in really good shape. That's the first function here, is to return a list of probable email addresses. The next one removes duplicates. So if we have a list of 10 email addresses, how do we remove duplicates? We switch it to a set and back to a list. And all of a sudden you have a list with no duplicates. So once you understand the pieces of this, you just got to put it together using code. So that is the assignment for Module 8. Like I said, we will, again in Module 9, I'm going to come back and dig a little deeper here with some of this stuff. Because the tricky part of some of this is that if you scroll through this enough, you're going to see stuff like this. Now remember what I said about cleaning out garbage from lists. You can go one letter at a time. You can decide if that belongs there or not. Okay, but when I split this into words using spaces, this is going to come back as a whole word. There's an email address in there, but we also know that that's not all part of it. So how do you get that email address by itself? That's sort of the level 2 challenge that we're going to look into when we get into Module 9. So that's it for today. You do have some time to work as usual. Please use it wisely and let me know if you need any help with this stuff. Again, I will try to get this video posted to ASAP so that you can review it later, and I will see you next week.